Hello there. Let's now work on something else. So we want to build this. You see this on this left side. We want to look at how to make SQLs. So as you can see here, I have the count of the total number I have in my application. So if we go back there, I have an account of pending transactions. So as you can see, the status here is pending. And I also have an account where pending is equals to paid. So we want to write the SQL that's going to be displaying this data. So let's go ahead and remove this code I've written here and remove it. And let's just publish the app so that we can see that it's removed. And while the app is generating, we're just going to do it again. So this page is called requests. So I'm going to go to requests. Let me pick up a code called requests. Let's go to requests here, drag and drop it to where we have these counts and put it there. So these are two similar codes. So the first one, I'm going to change this to a request. So we have not yet been removed because the code is still generating here. So yeah, should be removed now. So let's go back, and here where we have request, let's call this paid request. So I'm going to make these a little bit small. I'm just going to make the name a little bit small, and let's make it small like that. So this one's going to be paid request, and the other one is going to be pending payments. Let's see. So let's publish this and see what we get. So I'm going to pause until it finally generates, so we can see what. Good. So we are done. Now, as you can see, we have this called paid request. The other one is total requests. Now, let's go ahead and alter these totals. So as you can see, it's just giving us a count of all the available totals. So we're going to go back to radystems, go to the page where we're designing, and we are going to come to where we have this more. So this, we want to get the pay request. So you go to where we have the SQL here, and you're going to edit it manually. So we have count. So what we want to count is the amount. So amount is coming from my database. So if we go to pages here and go to the request, we want to count the total of amounts. And let's go back to page design. So what we want to do, instead of doing the count, we can do either the sum. So the sum is going to give you the sum of all that has been paid. So you're going to get the total amount. Now the count is going to give you a count of all the records that have been paid. So let's go to amount. We are going to count amount. So we're going to do a count amount from request, and you're going to do where. So I have two conditions that I'm going to check. So if we go back to page, have the business name, and please note I'm using Node-RED for this one. You can also do the same thing for PHP, that classic or the other one, Laravel one. So I have the business name and the business ID. So in my add page, the business ID here is holding the account number of the active user, which is coming from here. So I'm going to be checking that against the code. So I want, whenever I get the count here, is going to be only for the logged in user. All right, so I'm going to say where business ID is equals to. Now here we have to pass a parameter. So I'm going to have BID. So that is just something I came up in my head. Don't worry. And now we're going to add an AND condition and say AND status is equals to. So if we go back to my code here where we have request, when I'm adding a page, I have the status here. As you can see, the status here is pending here. Okay, so the default value is pending, but we can have pending and paid. So that's something we're going to look at. So I'm going to go back to my code, and let's go back here, and we're going to do where status is equals to paid. Good. So there we go. So we are done with that one. Now at the bottom, we have to pass the parameter, because remember we created a parameter here. So once you click here, it's going to generate this parameter for you. because remember, once you add the parameter here, it's going to be added automatically inside here. So since I'm using Node-RED, remember this code is going to the backend. Now in Node-RED, you get the data of the logged in user using this request dot user dot now. Whatever is going to be here is going to be any table you want to access in the table you're using for user authentication. So if you come to a account number here, you notice that this is the same table I'm using for user authentication. So I'm using this table called people here. This is the table I'm using to do authentications. So so this one is going to be just the same. So account number can be accessed using rec.user.account number. So let's go back and say user.rec.account number. So it's going to get the count where the business ID is equals to the logged in user account number. Good. So we have done for the paid request. Now this has to be pending. Sorry, pending. And we are going to do the same thing. So let's go over here, copy this SQL, here, and let's come down here and paste it. So we are going to change where this is not paid but pending, and then where we have BID, we are going to make it BID1 so that it's a little bit unique, and we are going to do the same thing, rec.user.account number. So this is going to get where status is pending, and this is equals to that. So I'm going to publish and pause this so that we can come back. Great. So now if we come back here, you notice that now the paid request is equals to 0 and the pending request is equals to 1. So that's basically how it's going to work. And now, as you can see, we are going to be getting the data for this logged in user. So maybe I can try and edit one from to pending. So maybe I can just go to requests /edit/13, and I want to edit this to be pending. It doesn't seem to be having that, but let me enable it and come back. All right, so we're back now. Let's try and update this to paid. So once we update this, we should be able to get both of them should now be updated to 1 because both of them are going to have to be paid. So let's see what we get. All right, so it's 0, 1, but now remember we had two conditions where business ID is equals to the ID of the logged in user. So as you can see here, it's not the same. So that's why we are getting 0. So if we go back and edit this to have the ID of the current logged in user, then we should be able to be having that guy getting the update done. So now let's see what we get. All right, so finally now we have it being 1, 1. So now that's how you can do the count for the SQLs. Now you can change that from count to sum to get the total amount that has been made. So let's make this sum, and here let's make this sum. Then we can publish and see what we get. There we go. So now we have the sum. Now you can do, maybe you can add a prefix with the symbol of your currency. So maybe if we come to where we have a prefix, value prefix, I can add like Kenya shillings here. Can come like Kenya shillings, and at the bottom here also Kenya shillings dot Kenya shillings. So now from there you can just go down here and try and do your own customizations. So I'm going to make this to be outline true. The text color should be dark. Make this to be dark, something like that. Bar color also should be dark. Good. Now do the same thing for the bottom one. let's color dark, and this should also be dark, and outline should be true. Alright, so there you go. You have this appearing just fine. So now you notice they are too close to each other. So what we do with them, and so that we have some spacing in there. So I'm going to pick a custom view. Pick a custom view here, drag and drop it where we have them here. Put them at the center, and then you're going to give this div a class of that's going to be equals to cube padding bottom is going to be extra small. You're going to have them like that. Also, you can change the size of the icon here because the icon is too big. So the icon size should be something like 20. Also change this to something like 20 and hit pub. Alright, so there we go. But there seems to be a bug that alters how this looks when you put the icon to be a little bit smaller. So I returned the icon size to 40, and there you go. So now you have a space and a very nice looking card here. So yeah, that's generally how you can build your app to look like that. So work with the SQLs, play around with it, and see what you can get. So in case you have any questions, leave them in the comment. We are going to answer them all. So have a good one, and see you in the next one.